I just went on a date and the guy took me for drinks and food. And when we got our food, mind you, this is our first date. After we got our food, he said, well, can I come to your house after this? I said, no. He said, looked me dead in my face. Well, you are wasting my time.
Oh.
I said, am I? He said, yes, you are. Because people know when they want to like mess with people, like when they first start talking to them. And if you don't want to, that means you're not going to. So you're wasting my time. So then I dropped him off.
She dropped him off. He would have to walk home.
I don't have time for shit like this. I can stay my pretty ass in the house or just go out by myself. And he said in the car, he's like, because I'm a real nigga and like he's Jamaican, so he said he doesn't deal with American girls because we don't know what real men are. We don't know when a real man is looking us in our face. So he said, no man is just going to take you out and get you drunk and feed you. The thing that I need you men, you idiots, to understand is, please don't tell me things that I can do for myself or like a plus for what you've done for me today. I'm gonna feed myself, drink, smoke, all these things on a daily basis with my own money from my own pockets. I never, ever, 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 never, never, ever, 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 never, ever, never, ever, 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 never, ever, ever, never want a man to think I'm using them for shit I do for myself.
I don't like how there are so many men who feel like buying you drinks, taking you out, buying you dinner, I mean food, is them doing you this huge favor, so much so that you now owe them your body. Like it is my body in exchange for food that I could buy myself, food that I was eating before I even knew you existed. And now because you spent $50 or $100 to buy me food, maybe the first time, second time, whatever, that I see you, now I owe you my body. The entitlement is disgusting. And the fact that she had to drop him back off somewhere, no. You telling me that I need to come back to your place, or else I'm wasting your time because I don't want to give you my body. You would have walked from wherever you were, get out of my car, goodbye. With that money you were going to use to feed me that you thought was such a favor, go pick up an Uber. Call somebody to come for you. Call the police to come for you if you ain't got it. When we say that men are not lonely enough, this is what we mean.
I am so disturbed. I am so disturbed that I had to leave work and come to the forest. There is this thing that men will do so casually that to me is like the pinnacle of human cruelty. And I have 3 stories that came to me today that I'm going to share with you that all carry this energy. So bear with me. Now, the first one was this woman. And she was from the East Coast. All her family was on the East Coast. She met this guy. He got a job in this special industry in like comic books. And it's hard to get a job in comic books. And they had to move out to Seattle. It's like, that's fine, but I want to be able to come back and visit my family on the East Coast. And she comes from a culture that's really important. She has a big extended family. He's like, yeah, of course. So years go by. And every time there's a chance for her to go back east and visit her family, he always has a reason why. Someone's sick or financially doesn't make a good time. Then they have kids, and what about the kids? And it's not responsible in school and this and that. And he has this really big thing coming up for his job. They're together for 15 years. 2 kids later, and it finally comes out in this like blowout fight that he doesn't like going back east. He doesn't like her family. He never wants to go back east, and he wants to allocate that money that she wanted to do for traveling to visit her family for stuff he's into. 15 years later, she finds this out, which means those 15 years she didn't visit her family. For those 15 years, she was there negotiating with him, going through this charade where they'd sit down and they'd look at their calendar and they'd look at the finances and they tried to figure out what it was going to be. And the whole time, he had no intention. He had no intention of doing this. The second one was this, chills me to the bone. There's this woman, she was with this guy for 27 years. And when they first start getting together, she gets these chronic health problems and they don't know what it is. They think it's fibromyalgia, MS, Crohn's, chronic fatigue. They're out somewhere doing something and she has this like really bad attack and they're in a different place. And so they end up going to an emergency room in a different state than usual. And something happens that day, the doctors run different tests. They end up telling her husband that she's allergic to tobacco. He smokes. He smokes cigarettes. He smokes a pipe at home. What do you think he does? He keeps it a secret and he doesn't tell her. And lets her go on for like another 20 years trying to figure out what this chronic health problem of her is. Because he just didn't believe that maybe those doctors had a point. He didn't believe that it was really that she was allergic to tobacco. Who's really allergic to tobacco? And so he just lets her go on, living sick, living with chronic pain, living in this like diminutive shadow version of what she could be, and going through all these tests, spending all these money, going to nutritional consultants and alternative practitioners and whatever it is, trying to get well, trying to get healthy. 20 years of her life, and he's sitting on this secret. I dated this guy, story number 3, for 7 years. For most of my 30s, I was dating this guy. And when I first met this guy, I told him straight up, sexuality is very important to me. It's a core part of my spiritual process in life. It's something I want to be a central part of our relationship. And he's like, yes, oh my God, amazing, me too. I'm so happy I found you. And then a little ways into our relationship, he starts shutting down on me sexually. Shutting down. And I'm really concerned about it, and I try and talk to him about it. And he gives me all these stories, all these tall tales. Like, first it's that he doesn't like when I initiate because he wants to initiate. Then I'm not initiating enough. Then he doesn't like my touch. Then I'm not attuned enough to him. Then it's just a logistic thing. It's like he doesn't want to do it during the weekday because he's stressed with work. And he doesn't want to do it on Sunday because he's getting ready for the weekday. And he doesn't want to do it on Saturday before we go out to dinner because he likes going out to dinner on Saturday. And it's, too much. And then he doesn't want to do it after dinner on Saturday because he's full. So really the only time to do it is a Saturday morning. And then I'm like, okay, let's do it every Saturday morning. And whoa. I'm being too ritualistic. Crazy story. And we're in couples counseling. I am crying to him. I'm saying, I love you so much, but it's really hard for me to imagine that I'm going to have to resign. Like that loving you and committing to you, and he only wanted monogamy, committing to you means that I'm going to have to sacrifice my entire opportunity to have this part of my being develop, to have any sort of like actual intimate physical life moving forward, and like just tell me what's going on. And I'm working with my attachment system, and I'm like studying all this nonviolent communication, and I'm just trying to give him all the love and the patience. He says he just needs space, trying to give him all the space. After we break up, 7 years I was with him. After we break up, it comes out that he was struggling with ED. He's a grown man in his 40s, and he couldn't come to me like a partner, like a grown-up, and say like, yo, this is a little vulnerable, I feel a little insecure about it, but I'm having this struggle, how can we address this together as a team? No. Instead, he hides it and just starts limiting both the times when we have intimacy and the activities that we do during intimacy to only those things where he can guarantee that he'll be able to perform, which ends up being less and less over time until it's nothing. And here's the thing that gets me about these men is it's like I trip out on the fact, like, do they know? And they're just watching this person who they say they love suffer. Like, does this guy, he's sitting there at the table and he's saying, oh, I just don't think it's a sensible time for us to spend that money to go visit your family. He's doing that just like knowing and watching her crunch the numbers and watching her negotiate with him. That's her life. She spent 15 years of her life navigating what was essentially just this man's lie, like this little maze that he put her in because his needs were the most important, because he just didn't care about that more than him getting what he wanted in the moment. That other man with his wife, he's watching her hack up a lung while he's just, sorry you're sick, babe. She was like, for one thing, they thought it was like PCOS, maybe some sort of hormonal thyroid thing. She had to get a gynecology. He's driving her to get her gynecology exam, where a doctor is going to shove a cold speculum inside her, where they're going to shove needles into her to pull out blood. She's thinking it's her, that she can't get up in life, that she can't do the things that she always dreamed of doing. She gave 20 years of her life to that man's lies for his nonsense because he couldn't be honest with her for 5 seconds because he didn't want to quit smoking. And he's just watching her suffer, knowing the whole time, like, my ex is there in couples counseling with me. I am on the floor crying, saying, I love you so much. I just wish we could work this out. Please, baby, please. And he's just like, yeah, I just don't think you're spontaneous enough for me. Just thinking, what, he's going to wait me out? He's going to wait me out. It'll sort itself out. That's what the guy with the smoking said. He said, I just didn't think, it was really that serious. I just thought it'd work itself out. The guy with the family, he just thought, I just thought after a while it'd be less important for you to visit your family. I thought you'd just get used to our life here in Seattle. So either they know, and they're being willing to watch you suffer because their level of selfishness is that high. Like, the lack of empathy is really that. It's really that. Their unwillingness to be vulnerable or to, like, give up having you in their life at the risk of telling you the truth or at the risk of having to make a sacrifice. Like, he just didn't feel like going to visit her family. My ex, he just didn't feel like facing his issues, and they just know, which trips me out, or they don't know. Or they're really at that level of internal fragmentation where those parts of their brain aren't talking to each other and they actually don't know. And that kind of trips me out even more. But in either case, it's just, to me, like the most intense cruelty that you can do on another person. Just watching them waste away for you, and feeling what? Numb, entitled. Like, I can't even imagine, like, loving someone and watching them suffer and knowing that they were giving all that up for me for like a week. And these men are just doing it for years. It's so disturbing. And that's where I think it's not even about trying to figure out what's going on over there, because that's the mistake I made with my ex. I spent those 7 years trying to figure him out, trying to do it right for him, where really what I was doing in the meantime was just forfeiting, was just handing over those years of my life to this nonsense. And that's where you got to turn the mirror around.
Someone in the comments said, men aren't stupid, they are cruel. Someone else said, choose better. They literally create entire spy personas for decades and flip a switch when you have kids and are trapped. Someone else said, how come they didn't tell her she's allergic to tobacco? Someone else said, they are genuinely not capable of love. Someone else said, it literally makes them feel powerful to see you suffer because of them. I also want to know why they wouldn't tell her personally that she's allergic to tobacco. And I think that is a fault of the doctors to not have informed her directly. But, when we always say, if you choose to, like, get married, whoever you choose, not even just getting married, but more so when you get married, because usually your husband would have permission to make medical decisions for you. So if you are going to get married, the person who you choose to get married to is literally a life and death situation, and especially if you're gonna have kids, because then if there are complications and whatever and you're not able to consent or to respond to whatever is going on, they're going to default to your husband making that decision. And an allergy can be a life and death situation, and to have a woman spend decades of her life suffering because you don't want to give up something that, in all honesty, would he even have to give it up, or to have a designated space where he does that, to talk to her to say, well, I still want to do this bad habit because smoking is a bad habit. Smoking does affect your health negatively. So he wants to continue doing his bad habit that he can't even find it in his heart to say, you know what, maybe this is a sign for me to give this habit up for my health as well, and in doing so I save her health. I think women spend a lot of time in relationships trying to fix things, and sometimes we don't even know that we're fixing things that the men don't want to fix, because in those three examples the men knew what the problem was, but they were unwilling to work this situation out. I think in the case of the woman with not going back to see her family for 15 years, like I feel like at some point before 15 years she should have just said, I need to do this for me, and she should have put herself first. Because in all of in the examples of, oh, we just don't have any money, or there's something that's coming up for work, you moved for him because he got his dream job, but he cannot let you go visit your family. Even if you don't like her family, at least let her go see her family. It is, I would say, the most important decision in your life if you choose to partner with someone, who that person is. And I don't think there is anything that will 100% guarantee. I don't think there's any vetting process. There's nothing that's going to 100% guarantee that you will not get hurt or you will not get abused in any form of way. You will not get taken advantage of. But I think if you truly are grounded and you know what to look for and you stand up for yourself and you do not allow yourself to constantly be put last for the sake of someone else, I feel like that is a better position to be in.
I don't think men quite understand what they're doing to women. Like, I think that they kind of understand, but I don't think that they fully like conceptualize what they're doing to women. Um, it's like it's something to say about like getting your heart broken one time by one girl and then immediately turning off that emotion and running through so many other girls afterwards. And so many of them, they don't feel like they're being messed up towards us because they didn't hit us, they didn't call us out of our names, they only called us sweet things, they only said nice words to us, they were only gentle towards us. But it is a war crime, bro, to connect with someone and intertwine yourself with someone that you have no intention of really intertwining with the way that you're doing. It's to do that, bro. And it's over and over again. And I saw someone post about the trauma. Like, nobody talks about the trauma that's associated with constantly going through these situations, like situationships with guys where like they don't want to commit and they don't want to take it to the next level, and the fact that it affects your self-worth. Imagine like knowing that you are worth what you are worth, and understanding who you are in your heart and what you do and how far you love, like how much you love. And for that too, oh my God, for that to also be rejected in the same token, it's just like, and this whole like being happy with being single and, you know, we don't need a man and all this other stuff as a in response to what's going on. I've been this way for years and I'm tired. I'm really tired, and I don't think that it's weak to crave human connection and to want to tear my walls down and to want to love. Like, That's like human connection is literally, it's innate in us. It is natural to us, and I don't feel like I should fault myself for that anymore, and I don't feel like I should continuously hide that. It's like I just don't know honestly what the to do. I'm I am tired, and I just want to I want reciprocity. That's it. And the thing is like you don't even have to go chasing for it to wear you down, bro. I dated somebody last year for a short period of time, and like it took months to almost a year. We didn't even commit, months to almost a year to even get past that. You know what I'm saying? And there was no commitment. It's-
I feel for her saying, all I really want is reciprocity. Someone in the comments said, future faking is cruel, and it is. Pretending when you meet me that you want what I want what you want, we're on the same page, knowing that that's not what you want, leading me on because it serves your purpose, the whole time knowing that we are not on the same page is cruel. It's evil. I've had my experience with future faking. I didn't know it had a name at that time. I felt like I was communicating what I wanted with this guy, and he kept saying, yeah, sure, I want the same thing. And then as soon as I got comfortable, he started talking about how he doesn't see himself as someone who can be monogamous, and but he would want me to stay and basically be one of his girls. And I'm like, oh, time out there. I didn't want that. I never signed up for that. I would never sign up for that. So, you know what? Goodbye. We're not on the same page. Let's just, yeah, it's fine. Bygones be bygones. It's fine. And he sent me a video of himself crying. He sent me a video of himself crying, talking about how, he's just really scared because what if he gets hurt, and he really loves me, he doesn't want to lose me, and we should definitely give it a try because like the thought, like he just cannot lose me. The thought of losing me is just so terrifying to him, but he's afraid of getting hurt, and that's why he was saying that he didn't want to be monogamous because he felt like that was the way for him to be safe from being hurt, because if I hurt him, then he wasn't really all that 100% committed anyway, and he could just be with one of his other girls openly, and we would all be one big happy family. And I believed him. I believed him, and I was like, oh, like, hey, he sent me a video crying, like he's gotta really mean it, right? Nah, that lasted like 2 weeks. And 2 weeks later, he said, um, yeah, so I can't do this. I'm laughing now because like I'm so over it. But at the time, at the time of this happening, it was, I think, one of the hardest things to get over, just because of the whole back and forth that I did. I was willing to let it go. I had let it go, made peace with it. And then he made me drop my guard 100%. And then he said that, and I was just like, I should have just not believed him. But at the time, it's like, why would you lie? Like, I'm okay with not being with you. But it wasn't that he couldn't do without me or whatever. He just, for one, he wanted to be the one to end it. And two, he wanted to have his cake and eat it too. So if he could get me to agree, but he could still do whatever he wanted to do without telling me, because I set that clear boundary. I'm not gonna do that open type relationship. Like, that's just not gonna happen. Yeah. So again, Just because you communicate, just because you have good intentions, just because you discuss it, just because you try, it doesn't mean that you're gonna get reciprocity, and it doesn't mean that the other person's gonna do right by you. And in us just dating, that's just a risk that we're gonna have to take. The only way to not deal with that is to not date at all. And like she said, I don't think that's the answer, or at least not for everyone, because it is normal and natural to feel attraction and to want to pursue relationships. And there are some of us who want to get married and have kids, and there's some of us who don't want that. And I don't think to say, oh, well, the solution is to not be with anybody and not date and just hate men and just be like, just no. I don't think that's the solution. Because you know the whole MJ thing where she was all like, "Oh, I don't know why women are getting married. Marriage is slavery and all of that." And there is some truth to what she's saying, but she swore men off like altogether. She doesn't want to have anything to do with that, and she was feeding that to her audience like that's the solution. The solution to patriarchy is just don't deal with them any at all. And then she popped out engaged to seemingly a rich man who is providing and bringing her on shopping sprees and whatever. And there are people giving their different comments about that, saying maybe he's just trying to humble her, or she was just grifting, she didn't really mean it, and all of that stuff. But the one key thing that I think is missing from especially that kind of conversation is the fact that it's natural to feel attraction. It's natural. Like it's not an abnormal thing to want that. And so instead of don't do it at all, we should be saying, if you are going to do it, this is what to look out for. This is what I've experienced. I hope you don't have to experience it too. At least I think that's a better way to approach these conversations than to be like one extreme or the other. I don't think that makes sense, because someone will watch that I hate all men, we should just stop talking to men type of content, and then they go out on dates after, or they close their phones and they're with their man. So it's like it's necessary to talk about the downsides and what to look out for, and signs of abuse and all of that. But to say the solution overall is to never, it's I don't think that's the right approach. Yeah, that's it.
I dated a narcissist for nearly a decade, and I promise you, they get so much worse over time. I would need hours and a book to truly break down how he was a narcissist, and I could do it, but I'm going to focus in on the last part of our relationship. In fall of 2024, we were no contact. I was really trying to move on with my life. I blocked him everywhere. I even changed my phone number because I was ready to move on with my life and let this go. He ended up making another phone number and reaching out to me, telling me he was done playing games, he wanted to see me, he bought me an engagement ring, he bought a house, and he wanted me to move with him to another state to start our life together. And I know I should not have even entertained a second of it, but I did. I felt like, oh my gosh, this is what I had hoped for all along. This is what I wanted. We ended up going to dinner, and of course, I naturally asked him what he had been up to. He told me while we were apart, he had been seeing someone, but it wasn't working out. He missed me so much, and he really wanted to be with me. He showed me the engagement ring that he bought me. He showed me the house that he bought, and he told me he was ready to move on with our life together. I knew that something was off. So in January of 2025, I decided I needed to get to the root of this. I discovered that he was still dating this person, that they never broke up. He never told her that he was going to be with me. None of that happened. So from there, we ended up going no contact. And honestly, I know, again, I should have left it there. So please learn from my mistake. In April of 2025, I got super curious about what he was up to. I did have him blocked on social media, but I was so curious. I couldn't help myself. I ended up looking at his social media, found the girl that he was with, and what I had discovered was he had a secret relationship with this girl for the last 2 years that we were together. Not after we broke apart, while we were together. And I was so shocked by it. And I know I shouldn't have been, because what you think is a lie from the narcissist, it is so much worse. This girl had no idea that I existed. I did end up reaching out to her. I did end up telling her what the situation was. She told me that she couldn't believe it. She needed proof. I sent her everything I had. I had pictures on vacation with this person while she was having a relationship with him. I had pictures of him inside of my home. We were sharing a life together, and she was shocked. But she didn't leave. She ended up staying with him, and 1 month later ended up getting pregnant. And I have said this before, you cannot warn the new supply. They will not listen to you. There is a reason why a narcissist is a master manipulator. So now they are having a child together, only several months after he had proposed to me, and a month after she discovered he was in a long-term relationship with someone else, cheating behind her back and cheating behind my back. And I am so grateful to be out of it, because that could have been me. So please learn from me, learn from everyone who goes through the lesson that nobody wants to. Leave the first time. I
agree with her with leaving the first time, but also if you have a girlfriend and the man is just not doing right by her, there is hard evidence that this man is not doing right by her and she doesn't want to leave, the best thing to do after stating the obvious and making sure that the evidence is true is to leave her alone to her own demise. And I know that it sounds harsh, but I think people leave when they are ready. When your cup is full, you will leave. Unfortunately, for some women, they end up on the news before they had a chance to come out of certain situations. They end up pregnant before they had a chance to come out of certain situations. They end up married before they had a chance to come out of certain situations. There's a saying in Jamaica, you can bring the donkey to the water, but you can't force him to drink it. So you can give her all the evidence, or you could see all the evidence, but you will not leave until you are ready. And eventually you will have to leave by choice or by force.
I have been on the receiving end of enough trauma at the hands of men to last me the next many millennia. Enough trauma to last me many, many, many lifetimes. And on days like today, I am filled with the rage of 1,000 suns. The rage that I feel actually cannot be contained, and I feel like I am going to implode. I cannot wrap my mind around the things that men do. The hurt that they inflict on women. The shit that they're able to get away with. I can't wrap my mind around it. I had said this in my close friend story a few weeks ago, and I'm going to say it here. I can feel this hardening of self happening within me, and I don't know that I care to resist it. I know that we live in a world that praises one's ability to remain soft in a world that insists on hardening you. But my God, I feel my heart being hardened. And I don't have the energy nor the will to resist it. I don't. I am tired in my soul. When I think of the things that men have done to me, the things that men have said to me, the trauma that they have inflicted on me, the ways that they have slashed my heart repeatedly, it feels like there are not enough tears to cry. I could cry for a whole year straight and it still wouldn't be enough. I just can't wrap my mind around it. It's like men see you and they see the absolute delight that you are. They see the light that you carry. They see the beauty that you exude. They see the kindness that you wear on your sleeve, and they think to themselves, wait till I get a hold of this bitch.
I am going to destroy her. And that's precisely what they do each and every time. I have never, ever been with a man that has done right by me. And I don't want to cry on the internet, but that's where I am. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. There's only but so much one can take. And I feel like I'm at my breaking point. The rage that I feel is so potent that I feel like I'm going to implode. I am tired in my soul. I am tired in my soul. And I have nothing left to give. Let's say by some miraculous chance, right, I were to meet my person tomorrow. I am utterly afraid that I would have nothing left to give. I am tired. I am on E. I am empty, unfurnished even. I have nothing left to give. I'm so sick of men, y'all. I hate them with every fiber of my being. I don't even look at men when I'm walking past them on the street. I don't even acknowledge their existence if I don't have to. I'm nauseated by them. I hate them. And I think what saddens me most is I know that I am not the only woman that feels this way. I know that there are so many beautiful, educated, stunning, kind, multifaceted, layered, multidimensional women who desire partnership, but instead are being traumatized over and over and over and over again. And that with each blow to the heart, your capacity for love lessens. Whether you want it to or not, it happens involuntarily. And I am at my wit's end. At this point, I think I am absolutely okay with spending the rest of my life alone. If it means that I won't have to deal with trauma over and over and over and over again. If it means that I'll cry less, right? If it means that I'll be able to preserve my peace of mind. If it means that there won't be wars being waged on my self-worth every time. If it means that my sanity will remain intact, what's left of it at least, then I will choose singleness forever. That is where I am with it. I don't even have the words to describe what I feel and what I felt all day today and yesterday. Yesterday I literally cried my eyes out because of this. I am so through. I will never in my life date again. I will never, like, ever. I am at my wit's end. I am so tired. And again, I know so many other women have arrived at this point. So yeah, I felt like I needed to get that off my chest. If anybody has any words of comfort, if you can relate, if you want to commiserate with me in the comments, please do that. I'm utterly tired. And yeah, that's all I got.
I think the reason this happens is the same mindset that I had when I started dating. And it was thinking that just because I have good intentions, it means that the other person will also have good intentions. Or just because I try to communicate my feelings or where I think we are in the relationship, that the other person would also pick up on my cues, pick up on what I'm saying, and reciprocate. It's this idea that reciprocity is something that will naturally come when we start to relate to other people. And the sad fact about it is that that is not true. Just because you have good intentions does not mean that good intentions will come from other people too. And that's what I did not know. If I had known that, but I also think that the only way that I was going to truly understand that was through experiencing hurt and betrayal on my own. I don't know if someone would say to me that just because you love him and he seems like he agrees with everything that you're saying, or that it's going good, like, I don't think someone could say that to me and I could truly understand. I think that part of you that grows out of some sort of hurt or betrayal is necessary for you to truly understand how to relate to people. I'm sorry. That's just kind of where I am with that. And when it comes to being hardened by our experiences, I also kind of have a love hate relationship with that because I understand how holding on to anger and hurt can affect our health. I'm talking like high blood pressure, anxiety, depression. When those things start to happen, like you've crossed a line that you should not ignore. I understand putting a wall up. I understand self defense, coping mechanisms. I understand doing what you need to do to survive, doing what you need to do to overcome. But if you harden yourself so much that you lash out in anger, that you are having anxiety attacks, that you are having like high blood pressure, I've also heard it said that autoimmune diseases are born out of some sort of stress. Don't know how true that is, but I've heard that one floating around. I think in our efforts to preserve ourselves, we should not hurt ourselves.
My last straw that led me to completely opting out of dating altogether, at least for now, was realizing just how common red pill culture is. I remember one of my prompts on Hinge was something like, "We won't get along if," and my answer was, "You watch or listen to Andrew Tate and Jordan Peterson," something like that. The amount of replies I got to that prompt was ridiculous. Of men just like wanting to argue with me or like change my mind or try and understand why I didn't like these guys. And that is just so worrying, given that like my age bracket. Also, I think we don't like when we talk about like red pill culture, I think a lot of people think that it's just like young boys. Like my dating bracket was like up to 30. These are grown ass men. Even the tiny sample size that we're talking about, given that there's heaps of men out there that my profile didn't show up for them on their end. The amount of replies I got from that prompt, and then to think on top of that of like the men who thought that way, like who actually liked those guys and listened and watched those guys, just didn't reply, obviously, because they were like, oh, well, like, she's not for me. And then also, like, obviously just the men that, like, crossed me that weren't interested. And maybe it was just, like, an algorithm thing. But whatever. It's enough to worry me. And if it doesn't worry you, I'm worried for you. My last
I had two experiences with people with red pill, not dating experiences, but these are men who I interacted with, and then seemingly out of nowhere, they started with the red pill talking points. And at the time, I knew what it was, so I understood what was happening. There was this one, I worked with him really closely, and we would talk casually here and there, and then all of a sudden, he would just randomly start talking about how like single moms should settle for whatever they get, or the fact that someone is a single mom should mean that whatever a man is willing to give them, they should just be happy about it, especially if that man doesn't have a child, because she isn't like worthy of a man without a child, even if that man really loves her and doesn't care that she has a child. And like it seemingly came out of nowhere, and I wonder, did he just discover this? Like what's going on here? And the more I spoke to him, I got to realize that he had this one relationship where he really loved her and she left him. I don't remember the details of what happened, but he would randomly start talking about like, yeah, women are trash, like whatever, whatever. Like he would just randomly burst stuff out like that. And then he would reference like my ex who did X, Y, and Z. And then I'm like, maybe it makes sense now. He got his heart broken. Here comes the red pill, to rescue him from his heartbreak. And now he's down that red pill pipeline because he feels like these men are for him or they understand him. And I remember just feeling so sad for him because most of us who date have been heartbroken. It's just a part of it. And to think that his big heartbreak caused him to go down into the red pill, which is very toxic and destructive. He was young. He was young, and I just kind of felt like I really would want better for him than to go down the red pill. If you are going on a date, if you are speaking to someone who you maybe want to go on a date with, and they start to talk about red pill stuff, you should probably back away. All right? Because I've never heard a red pill man talk about how to bring a woman on a date, how to show up for a woman, how to be a partner, how to, be there for your kids or whatever. It's always money, sex, being as physically dominant and as financially dominant as possible. It's never about any form of mutual love, connection, and respect.
And don't let anybody victim blame you that you picked the wrong man. You simply picked a man. As long as you picked a man, you picked a chance to be disappointed. As long as you picked a man, you picked a chance to be traumatized. Yeah, could you sabotage yourself and increase your chances of being abused or played or whatever by ignoring red flags? Yes, you can. Dating coaches tell you you should play these games with men where you don't let them so much into your space and into your heart because they would get too comfortable and they would play you. Everything around us is telling us that it's in men's nature to disappoint, right? Because nobody tells you that, oh, don't open yourself too much to your female friends or to your parents or to your siblings because they're eventually not going to like you anymore. Nobody tells you all that, but they tell you to do that with a man because you have to tiptoe around the man for you to not be disappointed. And even then, even then, I mean, the last few months, we've seen couples that we've adored, watched on the internet, who've been together for over a decade. We watch their relationship crumble just because a man has desires, just because a man chose himself. Even when you meet a guy that seems to tick all your boxes right now, like my sister Jenny will always say, men are autonomous beings. They can wake up one morning and decide to go an entirely different path, and society backs them up. There's no accountability system laid down for men, right? The world only holds women accountable. The world doesn't hold men accountable. Whatever a man decides to do, society will back him up. If he's the most loving father and the most supportive partner today, and tomorrow he gets up and decides that, oh, he wants to be something entirely different from that, no system is in place to hold him accountable. So he would get away with that. He would leave you a single mother. That's going to be the end of it. So many women have picked a husband or boyfriend. There were no signs. Like this woman did all the things that she was told. This man completely adored, kissed her feet, all that. But along the line, because you're a woman and he's a man, he disappoints you. So don't allow anybody gaslight you that you picked the wrong man. It's possible to ignore red flags, but even if there are no signs, for the fact that you picked a man, you picked a chance to be disappointed. And don't let
And that's as simple as it is. Nothing else to be said. As long as you are in the game, you might get hurt. You might get played. So I had these clips of dating experiences from LA, and I was gonna make it 2 videos, but instead I'm gonna make it 1 video. So this next section is going to be women sharing dating stories of what it's like dating in LA. So enjoy.
I have never been on a date with so many red flags in my entire life. And feel free to judge me for this one because I'm judging myself hardcore because I shouldn't have gone in the first place. Anyway, there's this guy. He's been asking me out for like a year. I've known him for a couple years. He did some work on my house 2 years ago. I was selling my four-wheeler last year and he came and he was like, "Oh, where's so and so?" Talking about my ex. And I'm like, "Oh, we broke up." And he's like, "Oh, you want to go out?" Blah blah blah. And I'm like, "Aren't you engaged?" And he's like, "Well, no, we're like breaking up. We're gonna." So I was like, "No, dude, right? Whatever." So then 6 months go by and he asks me out again. He's like, "Oh, we broke up. I'm not with her anymore. I'm getting an apartment." And I was like, "No, I don't want the fact that you would hit on me while you are like actively engaged, I'm not dating you." Well, fast forward to, I don't know, a few weeks ago. He's asked me out. He's continued to ask me out for this entire year. He asked me out again, asked me out again. I don't know. I was feeling sad, desperate, whatever the hell I was doing. Red flag. red flag. So I said yes. And so then he was like, okay, where do you want to go? And I'm like, I don't care, wherever you want to go. He's like, well, what time you want to go? I'm like, I don't care, whatever time you want to go. Well, what? And he like, what? I'm like, can you plan something? I literally, here's my availability times. I have 0 dietary restrictions. Pick something, plan something. Days go by. He asks every single day, where are we going? So finally I was like, all right, let's go here at this time. So I have to plan it. Okay, whatever, not a big deal. So he's like, then he switches up. He's like, well, I might have to have my buddy drop me off or like borrow this car because my car's that's fine. I drive a freaking National Grid vehicle, still has, and it beeps when you back up. I could give a shit what you drive. I don't care. But he's already like making excuses. Okay, whatever, not a big deal. So day comes, I go to walk in. So I get there, I park out back, I see him in a car. As I walk up, he's on the phone. He's like screaming at someone on the phone. I was like, oh, Jesus, here we go. I stand there. It felt like 10 minutes. It was probably like a minute. I feel like I stood there forever waiting for this man to get off the phone. And he's just like fighting with someone on the phone. I was like, oh, Jesus. So he gets off the phone. I'm like, everything okay? He's like, yeah, this bitch, blah, blah, blah. Red flag number 85. Don't talk the minute that a man is like, oh, my exes are crazy, blah, blah, blah. That's you, sir. Were they crazy before or crazy after? And why are you still arguing with whoever this woman is? If it's your ex, it's been a year. If it's another woman, why are you here with me? But again, I was like, all right, whatever. We're going to go have dinner. We get in there. It was probably the fastest dinner I've ever had my entire life. I think we were in and out of there within like 37 minutes. So we sit down. Our waiter walks up. Our waitress is, and he's training a girl. And the girl comes up and she's like, I'm sorry, I'm new. And he's like, yeah, I can tell. And I was like, oh, there is one, do not be rude to service industry people. I don't give a shit. They are helping you there. I have worked retail my entire life. Do not be me, especially if she's new. So I look at her and I'm like, I'm sorry, you're doing great. Thank you so much. And he like rolls his eyes and I was like, do you want to leave? Like, I was so irritated. So then the entire time we're sitting there, he's bashing his ex. He's bashing, oh, well, I went on this date a couple weeks ago, but I met her online and she was like 100 pounds heavier when I met her in person. And I was like, you're a bad person. What am I doing? This was me. I continued to lower I don't even know. So then I'm like, all right, we got to go. So we go to leave. He walks me so I offer to pay. And he was like, he like grabbed the thing and I'm like, I can pay. And it's not a big deal. I have this thing, especially if it's a bad day. I do not want anything from you. I will pay every single time because I don't want you to think I owe you something. Like, I will pay. He says no and he pays. I appreciate you. So then I'm trying to look because it was like $47 or something. And I'm trying to look at the tip and he gives like a 50. And I was like, oh, I'm going to go back after and give these people more than $2.17 or whatever you're. So then he walks me to my car and he goes to like hug me. And I was like, bye, nice seeing you, whatever. And he was like, can I have a kiss? And I was like, no. And he's like, oh, prude. Yep. Sure am. Sure am, sir. No, I just don't like you. You are the epitome of a terrible person. So then he goes and then he like walks away, gets in his car. I'm parked out back. By the time I drive, like I'm in my car driving, I'm still not even out of the parking lot. And he texts me, I'm assuming there's not going to be another date. And I just left him on red. No, there's not going to be another day. I'm glad you got that though. Like, I'm glad you picked up on that. I shouldn't have said yes in the first place, but I don't know what to do anymore.
There are two parts to this. When a man has been chasing you for a long time, he keeps trying to get you to go out with him and you keep on saying no and he keeps on coming back and you keep on saying no. Sometimes it's not because he genuinely likes you, but because he wants to conquer you. It's the thrill of the chase. And so when you finally say yes, if you finally say yes, then it's about breaking you and making you pay. Now, he needs to teach you a lesson now for rejecting him in the first place. So now you're going to have to pay for that. And he's going to do everything that he can to ensure that you put him on a pedestal and you see him for the good catch that he is, because how dare you reject him in the first place? If a man is breaking up, is in the process of breaking up, usually when you're breaking up, you kind of feel it, unless something suddenly happens and you have to leave the relationship. When a relationship is coming to an end, you feel it, you know it. If he's telling you that I am currently going through a breakup. We're currently breaking up right now. I want to go out with you. No, that's also someone who would cheat on you. That's, I am okay with cheating if I have a good enough reason type behavior. And then you still live with her, but you're breaking up. Oh, but she's a crazy ex though, so it's all good because she was crazy. Don't believe the crazy ex allegations, even if the woman is confrontational. Don't believe the crazy ex allegations. If a man is trying to tell you that every woman in his life was just a bad person and he has just been a victim, run. Because you know who the next crazy ex is gonna be? You. He's trying to make you feel like the exception, trying to make you feel like you are just so special and those girls were crazy, but not you. Leave that man alone. Sometimes we might feel bored, lonely, desperate, and we give someone a chance. But I've rarely heard dating stories where they give the man a chance that has shown questionable behavior and the date actually went well and it led to anything meaningful. Almost all the stories of giving men a chance, excusing their poor behavior, sweeping red flags under the rug, almost all of those stories have ended badly. Know when to walk away. Know when to leave a situation alone. If you don't like that man, leave that man alone. He has nothing good for you. He keeps bugging you. He's willing to cheat on his partner with you. You're the next person that's going to get cheated on.
Went out on a date with a 49-year-old man, and 3 days later he called me to let me know he doesn't want anything serious, but would I be open to something casual? If I wanted an F buddy, why on earth would I pick a 49-year-old man? No one wants you for casual, honey. If I wanted a casual little F buddy, I'd get like a 28-year-old. It's insulting to even ask. I wanted you for that career, that long career. Aren't you gonna retire soon? I want you for your senior citizen discount. The absolute audacity of these old men. He is almost 50. On the date, he tells me that he's meeting with a spiritual advisor to help him figure out what he wants out of life. I'm looking at him thinking, you have 10 good years left. What do you mean? He's trying to figure out whether or not he wants to get married and have kids. It reminds me of that viral noise. Do you know you have 30 minutes? 30 minutes! Absolutely wild that a almost 50-year-old man needs help figuring out what he wants out of life. And at this point, just commit to the bit. Just be single. Be a bachelor forever. You've taken it this far. Jesus. He's 15 years older than me. Is he getting women my age that are like, yeah, this will be my F buddy? These women have mental problems. Isn't the point of an F buddy like getting like some young hot thing? Not some old guy who probably needs to take pills? Went out on a date with a 49.
There is no age limit on men who don't know what they want in life. I'm not even gonna say that having some sort of spiritual advisor to figure out what you want. I think 50 I think at 50 you really should have a pretty good idea. If at 50 you don't know what you want, it should probably only to me like be under the circumstances of something major happened in your life that changed your outlook on life. But if you've just been smooth sailing and then when you reach 50, you're like, oh yeah, I want casual relationships, you're gonna get used as a man. Which young girl wants a casual 50-year-old man? No, don't do it.
I just came back from my first date in LA, and it was with a man. And this man said the most outrageous things. He went on a philosophical debate. I don't think I've ever done this with a guy before. Obviously, every single date with a girl is philosophical. The bartenders kept coming to me and like doing thumbs up, like, are you okay? He was like, I know it sounds selfish, but I didn't want to drive to where you were. Red flag number one. That was literally 5 minutes in. He was like, yeah, this place was 2 minutes away from my house. He said, no one has free will. and he was saying, I would have came to the date no matter what. And I was like, okay, what is this ego? Second of all, we went on this debate about cheating. He was saying no one has free will. We can't condemn a person based on their one action. You have to think about what led them there. I was like, so if you had a partner who cheated on you, what would you do? He was like, I did cheat on someone. It was not me. It was literally the circumstances of my situation. And I was like, well, then why the hell did you not tell them about the problems before it led to you cheating?
At one point, he was getting in my face and was like, what if I scared you right now? What if I scared you right now? Would that be free will? Would your reaction be free will? And I was like, I was scared. I was actually scared.
And now I'm just scared of going on dates. LA, what are you on? Why is dating here so bad? I hope it goes uphill from here. Because how can it not? This is probably going to be my last TikTok before TikTok gets banned. So, dating in PA school, good luck to you all. I just came back.
Going out of your way to try to intimidate me and then ask me what I would do, loser behavior. Talking about cheating is a no deal breaker, big red flag for me. Never gonna like it. I no. Cheating is just no. Cheating, no. Saying that you can't judge somebody for cheating because they don't have free will anyway. So we're all just mindless robots doing whatever, and oh no, it's not our fault because we don't have free will. We don't get to decide how we respond and what we do. They will come up with every reason to justify their nasty behavior. Every reason. Just be a decent human being. Even if you don't want to call it free will, you have freedom of choice and you choose to do those things. Trying to excuse cheating as just something that people do mindlessly, it's diabolical. Go ahead and share your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, thanks so much for watching. I love you all, and I will see you in the next video.